Hi everybody, Dave Wallace talking to you again. These numbers tell a really interesting story. In 1973, Secretariat won the Triple Crown. He was the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years. In the first two races, the Derby and the Preakness, Secretariat defeated Sham by a combined total of 5 lengths. In the Belmont Stakes, as some of you are old enough to remember, Secretariat defeated Sham again. Sham was second, this time by an astonishing 31 lengths. If the first two races were so close and the Belmont was such a resounding victory, what was the difference? And you know, it's interesting. In 1973, the wide-angle lenses that were available actually weren't even wide-angle enough to get a photograph or a TV shot of Secretariat and Sham in the same shot. They had to keep panning back and forth. That's how big 31 lengths is. What changed was that Secretariat's trainer changed the way he trained Secretariat. The conventional wisdom at that time was that 3-year-olds were kind of fragile. They weren't mature enough, and the 3 weeks between the Preakness and the Belmont were too short to allow for hard training. So what typically had always happened until then was the horses were trained fairly lightly. The trainer for Secretariat, I'm sorry I don't remember his name, he knew his horse. He had the situational fluency to understand that Secretariat loved to run, and to allow him to run and to train him hard was the right thing to do. And that's what he did. And as the experts were watching this happen, they were flipping out saying, this horse the heart's going to explode on the back stretch. This trainer doesn't know what he's doing. Well, it turns out he knew exactly what he was doing because he understood his horse and he was able to tailor his training to the horse. And in doing so, he forever changed the way horses are trained. You know what? It's the same in business today. Things that were called best practices in the past are being shown to actually not be best practices. They're shown to actually be obsolete. The status quo is no longer as viable in many cases as it should be. And the key for you to be successful in sales is to understand when you have to change and when you have to help your customer change, when the status quo, in fact, is not the right thing, and in fact, the status quo is not sustainable. That's the challenge that you face, is to understand when you need to do that. If you'd like to learn more, send an email to the address below with status quo in the subject line, and we'll talk soon. And as always, thanks for your time.